Hello everyone and welcome to the Press Box, your insider look at everything Highland Lakes football. I'm Jennifer Fierro at the R-Bar in downtown Marble Falls, and today we're going to be talking about what you're talking about, and that's the Burnet Marble Falls game. We are also going to take a look at another rivalry game when Faith Academy welcomes Fredericksburg Heritage. Then we're going to throw in a little Llano football on top of that. All of this and more on the Press Box after this.
Community loud, community proud.
We got spirit, how about you?
Supporting our local schools all year round. Marble Falls, Kingsland, Horseshoe Bay. American Bank of Texas. This bank is your bank. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. It's a big week here in the Press Box, and that's because it's rivalry week. We're going to talk a little Burnet Marble Falls, then we're going to throw in a little Fredericksburg Heritage and Faith Academy. Joining me as always are our group of panelists, Judge Martin McLean, longtime Mustang, a lover of everything purple. Next to him is Roger Moore, the voice of the Burnet Bulldogs. He does all of the public announcing at Bulldog Field. And then of course we have Billy Becker, lifelong Mustang, historian, and author. Now before we get into this week's games we're going to talk about last week's games and get you going in our 2-minute warm-up. For the second straight week, the Mustangs scored more than 40 points to go 2-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time in more than a decade. Marble Falls beat Medina Valley 41-21 by outscoring the Panthers 20-0 in the second quarter. In all, the Mustangs had 413 yards of total offense and 21 first downs. Senior receiver David Morgan caught 9 passes for 136 yards and 4 touchdowns, while fellow senior receiver Ralph Woods had 1 catch for 36 yards and a score. Senior fullback Austin Sparks added 154 yards on 24 carries and a touchdown. Medina Valley, which had more than 500 yards of total offense in Week 1, ended the game against Marble Falls with 364 yards of total offense. Burnet took out its frustration of losing to Giddings on Fredericksburg. The Bulldogs racked up 469 yards of total offense in a 55-7 thrashing of the Billies. Burnet scored quickly and often, led by junior quarterback Weston Cosby. Cosby completed 12 of 16 passes while rushing for another score. Junior receiver Caden Conley caught 4 passes for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns, and junior athlete Zach Maldonado finished with 4 catches for 73 yards and a score. Senior running back Joe Brown had 9 carries for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns, while senior running back Josh Frank added 10 rushes for 91 yards, and junior running back Blaine Posey had the other rushing touchdown and picked up the ball after a blocked punt for another score. The Yellow Jackets suffered their first loss of the season, a 28-14 setback to Bangs. Llano had 13 first downs. Senior quarterback Preston Rabb completed 10 passes for 133 yards and 1 interception. The Yellow Jackets rushed 37 times for 120 yards. Senior running back Alex Greer had 10 rushes for 36 yards and a touchdown. Their other touchdown came from Rabb's 1-yard run. Both scores were in the second quarter. The Flames enjoyed a bye week. Hope you're ready because that was your 2-minute warm-up. Last week while the football teams were playing hard, we had a chance to be up in the stands and around town to talk to fans. This week's fan question is courtesy of Nunley and Freeman.
Hey, I'm Jenny Brust and I work with Nunley and Freeman. I'm a dental assistant, and the question of the week is, what makes rivalry football games so exciting?
I'm Ryan Atkinson. I think rivalry games are important because they're really something good to look forward in the future.
My name is Chris Garza, and rivalries are important because it keeps the game fresh, not only for the student, for the current student, but for the alumni. It's not about the one game, but about the relationship between the cities.
My name is Xavier Garza, and rivalry games are important because it lets them know who's on top.
I'm Lino Garza, and rivalries are important because it gives you something to look forward to every year, not just a win-loss. It's something even more than that. It brings more than your average football fan out, so you get more of the community involved.
My name is Mark Morris, and rivalry games are important because I said so.
I'm Robert Gonzalez, and rivalry games are good because it chooses who's better than the other.
My name is Brian Smith, and rivalry games are important because it brings out the best in players. Normally in just regular games, you don't see the heart and hustle. When you're playing against somebody that you just absolutely don't like, you give everything you have to win.
The most exciting thing for me at this rivalry game is not only the competition, but the incredible Mustang fans and the traditions that we hold.
It's always great to hear from the fans, and special thanks to Nunley and Freeman for this week's fan question. When we come back, I talk to the experts about the history of the Burnet Marble Falls rivalry.
Vera's Strength and Fitness. Fitness programs that are fun and exciting with true performance and true results. Vera's Strength and Fitness, 708 Industrial Boulevard, Suite 101 in Marble Falls.
At Ritchie Dental Group, orthodontic care isn't just for kids. I'm Dr. Mindy Ritchie, and I can help you have a straight, healthy smile no matter what your age. From wire braces that come in a variety of colors, Invisalign invisible braces that disappear in your smile, to neuromuscular orthodontics that relieves chronic TMJ pain and headaches. Offering a variety of modern orthodontic treatments, I help people of all ages look and feel their best. Why wait another day? Call me today.
Chiropractic Family Care is the home of the gentle chiropractic care. Dr. Connie Laveau is certified both sports and board certified, and with 24 years of experience, she provides her patients with the best possible care. Chiropractic Family Care.
Welcome back to the Press Box. I'm Jennifer Fierro. Now we're going to get into the history of the Burnet Marble Falls rivalry, simply because with history comes rivalry. Billy, I'm going to let you have this segment since you know more about this rivalry than I do, or even a lot of other people.
All right, thank you. Marble Falls and Burnet have played 113 times beginning in 1898. The first real recorded game is 1913, but both Burnet Bulletin and the Marble Falls papers have gaps in that turn of the century situation. Burnet has a good lead on Marble Falls at this point. The record is, from Marble Falls' point of view, 37, 47, and 9. From Burnet, it's 47, 36, 9. The reason for the discrepancy is in 1956, during the 26-game streak, Marble Falls played Burnet's B team when they were in 19AA and Marble Falls was just B. They did the same thing with Austin Travis, and they won those games. But that's not a loss for Burnet because it wasn't a varsity game. Same with Travis. So there is some discrepancy. In the 2000s, Burnet has won 5 of the last 6. The year before last, Marble Falls won, and that's the first time in a long time. So the truth is we have a lot of evening up to do in this series.
I admire that, Billy, but really and truly, this rivalry can be summed up in one game. That's the game of the century. Judge, you happened to be there in Leander in November 1991, the regional quarterfinal game between the two schools. Both teams, Burnet had already beat Marble Falls in the regular season. Marble Falls was on a vendetta to get back at the Bulldogs. What do you recall from that game?
Well, I remember the game. I have to tell you, it's not very fondly, however. It was a terrific ball game. Both teams played very well. It ended in a tie. Well, time ran out in the tie. The game was decided by first downs and penetrations. This is one of the toughest ball games I've ever had to sit through. I was ill when the game was over, and I still get sick every time it's brought up. I give Burnet credit for advancing that year. They had a very good football team. We played really well. Just before the half, when we had a good lead, our quarterback got dinged up, and he was not quite ready to play as the second half began. And offensive coordinator Randall Alford told me later that we might have sat on that a little too long. We played it pretty close to the vest for a good little while there, waiting for our quarterback to get his feet back under him. And during that time, Burnet cruised right on by us. So it was a great ball game. It doesn't really get much better than that game, except it ended in a tie and we didn't get to advance. But I remember it well, and not fondly though. Not fondly though. Roger, I know that you weren't in the area at the time, but you had a chance to talk to Ed Abernathy, the head coach of the Bulldogs, during that game. From a Bulldog viewpoint, how do they remember this contest?
You know, Coach Abernathy, I coached for Coach Abernathy for several years, and you know, he was just shaking his head, just all the time we'd talk about it, and he just, you know, just get a big old grin on his face, and just really honored to even get to work for him and be in the same room with him many times. And he just always told me, you know, and it's not a bragging thing that he did or anything, but it was just that, you know, that team that advances, you know, and it was a bad system, I think. I love the new system now, but Coach Ab was adamant about, you know, we moved on.
Of course, the UIL has since then adopted an overtime procedure so that games are not decided by statistics anymore. Billy, you happen to have a better seat, probably the best seat in the house for that game. You took pictures of that game. What do you remember?
I remember that really Marble Falls had a solid lead and it just started slipping away in the third quarter. You just can't sit on a lead, and we understand the reasons why they did that. And it actually, like a couple of the other Burnet games in the playoff run, came down to a fourth down play, and this was a pass to their tight end that was another 6 inches, and they wouldn't have caught that pass. You know, Burnet created football history with this. They beat Vernon, they tied Vernon in advance, they tied us in advance, and then they tied South Lake Carroll. And that got them to the state game. But this is the only time in Texas football history that 3 ties by advancement like that ever happened, and of course it's not going to happen again.
And gentlemen, I think we can all agree that one thing about a rivalry is you have to have a good rival. These two teams seem to bring out the best of each other, which is always a great thing. Now we're going to talk more about the Burnet Marble Falls game a little later, but for now we're going to take you back to last week when we had our very first contestant who attempted to get a brand new truck in our Kick for Wheels contest. Robert Sikoski was our first to step up and try to kick a field goal in order to win a brand new truck from Johnson Sewell Ford Mercury. He waited on the sidelines in anticipation, and when he took to the field, examined the distance and launched the ball. It's going, oh, so close. On the right track, but not far enough. This week we'll be at the Faith Academy Fredericksburg Heritage Game. Remember to sign up online or at the game, and know that if you don't show up, you can't participate. Make sure you go out and support the local teams. Now after the break, we're going to talk more football.
Fencing is more than just building protection. It's an investment, an improvement, an important decision that affects the value of your property. At Hill Country Fence, we deliver results. Our work speaks for itself. Durable quality fencing delivered on time as you ordered. We are a reputable company with honest workers and a simple philosophy: to make you happy. Call today for a free estimate, 830-798-9883.
Are your investments driven by factors outside of your control? Do you have access to your money when you need it? Visit itsyourmoneyonline.com to learn how to keep thousands of your dollars from going down the drain. It's your money. Take control.